Ed Sheeran broke down in tears following verdict, says co-writer as starstruck juror. Admits watching him perform Live on the Stand was key to ruling he did not copy Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. Ed Sheeran broke down in tears after a jury found his hit song Thinking Out Loud did not copy Marvin Gaye's classic Let's Get It On, as the jury at Manhattan Federal Court cleared Sheeran, 32, of infringing copyright. He briefly put his hands over his face in relief before standing and hugging his lawyer. His co-writer Amy Wadge said she and Sheeran had a few tears of relief after winning the $100 million case. Speaking outside the court, Sheeran said, "I'm just a guy with a guitar who loves writing music for people to enjoy. I am not and will not allow myself to be a piggy bank." Sheeran vehemently denied allegations that his song stole fundamental musical elements from Gaye's song. The singer had staked his whole career on the case, vowing that he would be done with music if found guilty. Sheeran added, "I'm obviously very happy with the outcome of the case, and it looks like I'm not having to retire from my day job after all. At the same time, I'm unbelievably frustrated that baseless claims like this are allowed to go to court at all. We've spent the last 8 years talking about 2 songs with dramatically different lyrics, melodies and 4 chords, which are also different and used by songwriters every day all over the world. These chords are common building blocks which were used to create music long before Let's Get It On was written, and will be used to create music long after we are all gone. They are in a songwriter's alphabet, our toolkit, and should be there for all of us to use. No one owns them or the way they are played, in the same way that no one owns the color blue." He added that if the verdict had gone the other way, we might as well say goodbye to the creative freedom of songwriters, and that artists need to be able to create original music without worrying at every step on the way that said creativity will be wrongly called into question. It is devastating to be accused of stealing someone else's song when we put so much work into our livelihoods, he added. The singer also said he missed his grandmother's funeral in Ireland because of the trial, and that he won't get that time back. Juror Sophia Nays, 23, said a key factor in swaying the verdict Sheeran's way was his performance of the song during the trial. "It's obviously cool to have anyone play music in front of you," Liv Nays said. "So that was an interesting surprise decision because you're comparing music to a sheet. But it was very cool to hear Sheeran play in court." The lawsuit was brought by the heirs of Gaye's co-writer, Ed Townsend. His attorney, Ben Crump, told jurors at the start of the trial that Sheeran himself sometimes performed the 2 songs together. The jury saw a video of a concert in Switzerland, in which Sheeran can be heard segueing on stage between Let's Get It On and Thinking Out Loud. Crump said that was smoking gun proof he stole from the famous tune. When Sheeran testified, he repeatedly picked up a guitar resting behind him on the witness stand to demonstrate how he seamlessly creates mashups of songs during concerts to spice it up a bit for his sizable crowds. In closing arguments, Sheeran's lawyer Eileen Farkas said similarities in the chord progressions and rhythms of Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On and Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud were the letters of the alphabet of music. She added, "These are basic musical building blocks that songwriters now and forever must be free to use, or all of us who love music will be poorer for it." Jurors were sent home shortly after closing arguments Wednesday and returned Thursday morning to deliberate. Kaisha Rice, who represents Townsend's heirs, said her clients were not claiming to own basic musical elements, but rather the way in which these common elements were uniquely combined. "Mr. Sheeran is counting on you to be very, very overwhelmed by his commercial success," she said, urging jurors to use their common sense to decide whether the songs are similar. Lawyers for Townsend's heirs have not responded to a request for comment after the verdict. Their defeat means they may have to pay Sheeran a reasonable sum to cover his legal fees, which intellectual property lawyer Mike Gilbert said would likely be a 7-figure sum due to the length of the case. As jurors left the courtroom Thursday, Sheeran quietly mouthed thank you in their direction. He then spoke for about 10 minutes with the plaintiffs, including the daughter of Ed Townsend, who co-created the 1973 soul classic with Gaye. They hugged and smiled with each other. Sheeran said before the verdict that if he had lost the $100 million suit, it could be the end of his music career. "If that happens, I'm done, I'm stopping," Sheeran said when asked during the trial about the toll the case has taken. He added, "I find it really insulting to devote my whole life to being a performer and a songwriter, and have someone diminish it." Townsend's heirs in 2017 sued Sheeran, his label Warner Music Group, and his music publisher Sony Music Publishing, claiming infringement of their copyright interest in the Gaye song. Sheeran and Waj both testified during the trial that they did not copy Let's Get It On. Sheeran said he had only passing familiarity with the song, and that Thinking Out Loud was inspired by Irish musician Van Morrison. Waj told CNN the verdict was the most unbelievable relief and like 7 years of stress just leaving my body, adding that she and Sheeran had a few tears. I think it even goes beyond music, and the idea that it just comes down to the building blocks of anything, if it was a painting or a film. And for a musician who has just relied upon very little musical knowledge for my whole career, it was terrifying to even contemplate that this could even happen, she said. Gaye, who died in 1984, collaborated with Townsend, who died in 2003, to write Let's Get It On, which topped the Billboard charts in 1973. Thinking Out Loud peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2015. Sheeran is also facing claims over Thinking Out Loud in the same court from a company owned by investment banker David Pullman that holds copyright interests in the Gaye song. Sheeran won a trial in London last year in a separate copyright case over his hit Shape of You. Gaye's heirs in 2015 won a $5.3 million judgment from a lawsuit claiming the Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams song Blurred Lines copied Gaye's Got to Give It Up. After the verdict, leading music and copyright lawyer Nick Ezefula, a partner at specialist media and entertainment law firm Simpkins, said it was another significant court win for Sheeran, which makes the line between inspiration and infringement a little less blurred. He added, although this decision doesn't set a direct legal precedent, as all such cases tend to turn on their particular factual circumstances, the outcome here will be reassuring to many within the music industry, as it helps to reinforce the principle that nobody can own the fundamental building blocks of music. This decision will ease concerns of floodgates being opened to ever more song infringement claims of this kind.